Hello, welcome to the Air Shirley podcast. I am Dylan Rogers, a junior at the Air Shirley High School, and I am here with Matt Minier
Hello, I'm a senior at Ayer Shirley High School.
and Hey Fallon.
And Hayden, and I'm a junior.
So today, I think we are talking about our friend group and how we interact, because there's a lot to unpack there. What else did you want to talk about?
We'll talk about winter break and our plans and what we do. And we'll sort of touch upon like bonds with people and teammates.
Okay.
So, let's start off. Like, what are you guys doing for winter break? Are you excited?
I mean, I'm just gonna sleep all day, but I wanted to do something as a group, but
We'll get to that, yeah.
certain people in this table don't commit to anything.
Yes, I commit to stuff. I commit stuff.
He commits to stuff. But we'll touch upon that later.
But I'm excited for winter break.
Do you think? Winter break sort of resembles like the halfway point of school. Are you?
I'm ready.
It's come by fast.
Yeah, I
We're
feel
ready
like-
for it.
Does that mean you're ready to graduate?
I sort of am. Like, I'm ready for the next stage of life.
You excited for it or nervous?
Both.
Why are you nervous about it?
You're
Something
Are you
new?
going
less
to college?
like, yeah, but it's sort of like you're on your own in life. Even in college, like you're an adult now. And
You know what to guide you.
yeah.
I'm
you're
ready for that. I'm just done with this school.
Well, I think it's a little bit weird, like once you take the training wheels off, like what your actions
Yeah.
are exactly what.
Yeah, no actions have
It takes what you-
consequences at that
yeah.
point. Like, there's no. If you do something in the real world that you could do something here, you could probably get out of it here. But
What do you want to do as a job then?
I think turf management is my main focus.
Do
So I
you
want to
have
be.
to go to college for that though?
It's a 4-year degree. It's just to become a golf course superintendent, do all the landscaping there.
Doing stuff now to get into that.
I am. I work at a golf course.
Then what do you want to do as a career?
Something from computer science.
What a commitment.
Are your grades good enough for that to get into a good school?
I hope
I
so.
I
We'll
don't know.
see.
Your grade dropped from an A+ to an A- recently, and I heard you didn't do good on the math test.
What are you talking? Yeah. Well, I did fine on the math test.
Why is your grade dropping, Hayden?
They're not because the classes got harder this year.
Did they?
Yes, they did. It's junior year.
Do you think you have more distractions?
I did not. I had the same distractions as last year.
Okay.
I wouldn't call everything.
Are you putting as much time in as you did last year to your classes?
Yeah.
I don't think so,
Why not?
because you're always going to swim meets.
The swim season hasn't started yet.
But
We have swim practices. The meets don't start.
Same thing. Okay, I don't go to that.
Well,
What colleges are we thinking about?
So I'm pretty set on what I'm doing for college. So I think I'm going to go to Mount Wachusett for 2 years, get all my prerequisites done. Just because it doesn't really matter what college you go for to that.
It's cheaper
And then
too, right?
it is very much, it's way cheaper.
You don't want to be like that coming out of college. That's
I
Not
don't.
compared to me, where I want to go to a school that's got like $85,000 a year.
Yeah, and then transfer into UMass Amherst, which I have to.
That's
live,
hard to get
I
in.
have to live there then. Well, it's an automatic. Like I'm automatically accepted.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
really?
apply there.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because 2 years of any community college, you can go to any state school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm gonna go to. That's where I'm applying to.
Well, what do you-
Applying to I'm gonna try and go to UMass Amherst and somewhere else, because I'm gonna have to have 8 years of school.
Well, what do you want to do?
I want to be
doctor.
a cardiovascular surgeon, which is
That's cool.
a lot of school. It's like
That's a lot of studying.
it's
and-
8 years of school, and then you have like 6 years after that just being under a doctor.
That's a lot of dedication, right?
Yeah,
You think you're ready for it?
I think
You're
I
up to
am,
it?
because I like anatomy a lot
Have you taken anatomy?
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. You like that class?
Yes, but you have no clue that you have no dedication to a career, do you?
What?
You just
Yes,
say
I do.
computer science, but what specific job?
Well,
do
it's
you
just
I
want?
don't know
it's
yet.
a
I
lot of
haven't picked
like
yet.
it's like
It's a
business
broad-
and
it's a
marketing.
broad- it's a broad
You have your
field.
major, and then there's a lot of
He's-
fields that you can go into
So
it.
he's gonna be like a stock market investor.
You
He's gonna
could be. They make a
corrupt.
lot of money if you're good at it.
Correct.
Do you think spending a lot of time on school takes away from bonds like with friends.
Yeah.
How would you say you've dealt with that over the course of now 3 years?
3 years.
3 years.
So how does like school impact relationships?
Yeah.
Like I think if you try and you focus just on school, you can lose those connections with other people, right? Because if you're not spending time with them, seeing them as often, I think you have to try and put school on a little bit of the back end.
Do you feel that you struggle with your relationships, especially going into harder classes like APs?
I think it's a struggle to balance your time
But
with everything, with friends, relationships.
Do you
I think it depends on the teacher though with
I think-
AP classes, because
maybe?
my class AP class is pretty
like-
smooth
yeah.
sailing.
I think it depends on, like,
don't do a lot of
The
work in it.
course load, what type of like learning you are as well. Because if you like might get some stuff done quicker than other people, or some stuff will be harder for you.
Do you think having a girlfriend and managing other friends and school is a big toll on a junior?
Is it like
I
being
think
a
it's
dad?
manageable.
Okay.
Is it like being a dad where you have to look after us?
I don't think it's
But-
like being a dad at all.
I mean, me and Miles are always like following you around. We're kind of like your kids.
I mean, I applaud your time management, especially when you're doing a lot of sports
Yeah.
and
I
you
know.
don't get home until 8, 9 o'clock at night, especially in the midst of swim season.
Swim and soccer and band. Depends on the day.
Like
And you
noticed
have to
that
do band.
that slowly starts to happen, like, because we do extracurricular stuff. Like,
Hmm.
I've slowly like started to build up like my extracurriculars. Like, I just started out with jazz band, and I've slowly been adding stuff like the podcast and all sorts of stuff where I volunteer, and you just slowly start to realize you actually start losing time and applying to a job. You're just slowly like.
I think
That's true, and
I-
you're working, right? Like, do you work
Yeah.
during the winter?
not as often. No.
I
Okay,
will.
but in
But
the
like
spring
in
and
the
the fall,
spring,
you do.
yeah, well, yeah.
And
but-
does that?
I think
Do you think? I know we're missing Ryan and Miles here that we hang out with often, and I'm sure they would say like, the more busy you are, it feels like you're pushing relationships away. Do you think you've experienced that in your high school years, just how busy you are?
I think it's been you have to find time. You have to make the time if you want to spend the time with your friends. If you want to keep them, and obviously I want to keep my friends, so I've been trying to like push it more.
What have you done to show that?
Like recently,
I don't think you've done anything recently
not?
to hang out with
yesterday,
us.
Miles and Ryan and I went to McDonald's. We hung out. We helped
That's it?
Ryan film a movie.
Is that it?
Where was I during that?
Yeah, where were
I don't
we
know, you were at-
actually?
You were at home.
Ryan
I
said-
did not want to go. That is correct.
See, so that's
I had the
that's-
opportunity to go to
You had the
McDonald's.
option to go. I offered the option, and you said no.
Technically, Ryan offered the option, but
He
Okay.
offered it to me as well earlier on in the year, and he's never held up to that.
I will say, like,
Right.
I do applaud just how busy you are, and your time management is good. I think
He doesn't
because
leave
we're
enough
getting
free
older,
time.
you sort of have to face the fact that
You can't do everything.
you're not going to be able to hang out with these people that you are in high school as frequently. When we were freshmen and sophomore, and we were hanging out every day and every weekend. You sort of miss those times, but you have more responsibilities now, and you have to like focus on like what's ahead of you, and also, even though you're not like, it's harder to keep those relationships going
Mhm.
just because of how much time it is worth it in the end. Especially when you're trying to get into a good college.
I think it's like after high school, like if you have the close bond of group of friends, that's gonna be a bond that'll be
Yep.
there forever. Like even if we all go our separate ways, we probably still like call each other, like check up on each other. Make
The
some- right?
shenanigans group chat.
Like we have everything all set.
Yeah.
I think we should do, when we graduate, have like one big trip, like one last hurrah.
could be.
Where would you want to go?
I don't know.
I mean, I've talked to my friends about doing like a road trip.
That's what I kind of
They're
had an
just
idea of,
really
like going
expensive
to the White
road
Mountains.
trips. Like I talked about, like just going around the country and just road tripping.
After like stopping at every like place you want to and planning.
Yeah, major event, like you go down to Daytona, just go to the beach, go to see cars, go to Texas.
I'd want to go to Maine.
Go to
That's
LA.
simple if people don't go. I don't know how much you guys do a lot. Like in wilderness, I do a lot, but
Like camping?
going, yeah,
I like hiking. I like
I'd
camping.
know how to
I think barely
handle
been
that.
camping. You go camping a lot?
Yes, I go
Yeah.
whitewater
Yeah,
rafting
I go a
lot.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Have you,
can't. I hike on Mount Monadnock a lot in New Hampshire.
Have you done Greylock?
I have not, but that's on the summer
I have
list.
done it. It's
Um,
ridiculous.
I want to do Mount Washington. That's a big one.
That's dangerous, though.
Once you get up there, it's definitely hard, and you have to be like,
Know what you're doing.
yeah. Let's talk about relationships in sports, because I know that's one you do a lot of sports, and not only just having
Yeah.
a friend group, but you also build relationships with your sports teams. It's important to keep those even after you're done with the sport.
Like after you're done with the sport,
Yeah,
I think it can be. It depends on like if you want to keep a relationship with them. But I think during like the season and definitely during the sport, like a strong central
Mhm.
team, like good bond with each other
I mean,
is
I played football in like 6th and 7th grade, and that whole team, we never won a game or anything, and just everyone like hated each other. There's no
yeah.
connection.
I think
And,
it's like if you have a connection, it's way more like
like your soccer
it's-
team, they almost won like every game.
yeah,
didn't
we
they?
made it to a playoff. It's like It's more conductive to winning if you have more of a connection with everyone around you.
I
think,
agree.
Like increases your chemistry, like just the way you play.
I mean, even you know a lot about hockey. You have line mates. Like you are on the ice every single
That's
shift.
a big thing in
with
hockey.
everyone,
It
and,
changes.
Like I think you have to have that chemistry, because if someone resents someone else,
You're not gonna.
you're
be
not
good.
you're not gonna be as productive in your line.
Like going off that, if you have like competition between like positions, like some competition is healthy, but like too much, it turns into like a
Yeah.
rivalry, and then no one benefits.
And just bouncing off that, the Bruins goaltenders, Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark, they've been competing for the starting job now for all season. I mean,
Yeah.
Ullmark had it last season, but
They still keep that relationship.
yeah, I think that's really interesting.
But
how
they still have like a good bond.
yeah, they're
Yeah, like
fighting.
every game, they
like,
always
there's-
have a celebration or something.
They're always pushing each other to do the best they can, but like there's still that competitiveness.
So
Yeah.
it's like they see how they're respectful towards each other because they know that
Yes.
both of them are really good.
Sort
and
of
they're
like
just
the
trying to-
young, the Swayman's young and Olmark's slightly older, so it's sort of like student and mentor.
Yeah, no, and I think it's
Thing.
important because like you can't, if you're two goalies and you resent the other goalie,
You're,
you're
gonna
almost
suck.
wishing they
You lose.
you're almost wishing they fail for you getting the
Mhm.
starting lineup, but that only hurts you and your team.
Is bad.
So I think having that tight bond is important.
I think it comes with like a mindset too of like the sport. It's like not just playing to win; it's playing to like create an environment, an atmosphere, like a real bond with
Yeah,
everyone.
you are
Mhm.
a team. You work together every single day. You go in and out of that game, and you are one. Like it's not all of you competing for like the cup. You are competing
Yeah,
as one.
when one team wins the cup, it's
Mhm.
not that's one player won it. It's this whole team won it.
Yeah.
That's
One man team, just one player versus.
one
the
man
whole
team never
bunch.
works though.
There's no I in team.
Yeah.
Unless you're
What about
Connor
other
McDavid.
sports? Like you play a lot of soccer, and would you say you're almost always on the same part of the field, like your same position? If you're center, your wings, like are you always having the same people as your wings?
Oh, like okay, yeah. I play defense, so like normally if I'm in the middle on defense, I'll have like the same lineup with me. So you get to know the players. You get to know like what they do with the ball, what you can do to help them.
So you're building that chemistry.
Yeah.
But like, how do you connect with Miles? Because he's not at the same place as you, right? Isn't he more up front?
Yeah, Miles. If Miles plays midfield, so he's ahead of me. But that's still important because if I need to move the ball to him, I need to know where he is. But also just like having, even not even on the field, just having like knowing that if I need him to talk to or just like reference about the team, like I have someone I can.
Yeah, and I think that's
That's
important
important.
for all sports. Like, you could be a goalie in hockey, you could be a goalie in soccer, but you want to know what the striker's doing, just because you want to know how they move the ball and just how they play the game
And even
mentally.
with that, if you're the goalie, if your striker doesn't score, you're not gonna
Hmm
win.
Yeah, so that's another
And you need to build up
example
your
of just
teammates as
your
well.
one. Like, you need to learn their mental and physical game.
You know what gets them like ready to win, ready to
Hmm
battle on the ice or the field or the court.
I know we already touched on this, but with your time management, how is keeping and having a good, healthy relationship in?
Like relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's not tough, but I think you just have to balance it like everything else. Life's just a
I
scale.
I feel like you don't balance it enough though.
Why?
Who does his
No.
best?
You have to do your best. I think
His best.
your best is relative as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's the most you can do with what you have as well.
Mhm.
And I think I've always been like busy, and then it just you add more stuff, and you just kind of get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like once you try and like find a way that works for you, you can build off that.
I think at the end of your senior year as well, everything kind of falls off, and then you have lots of time because you're not gonna be working a lot. You're not gonna have your
You're not doing it
Well,
extracurriculars
much, yeah.
I think I want
anymore.
to. I might work. I don't know. I'll see what happens next year, but I
At the
wanna
end
work
of
a
your
lot. I wanna
senior
get-
year, Hayden, you kind of have to quit your job because you're going to college.
That's true.
I mean, not necessarily. It all depends, like, where you go to college.
Yeah,
And it
you
depends,
just
like,
get a different
those
job.
time management skills are useful. Just because if you go to college, you know, you need to then balance college, but then you want a job to pay for college.
It's also like college is more of like yourself. Like
Mhm.
you can, you're paying for
Especially
the
at
classes.
scale.
You don't have to show up. They're not gonna be like, you didn't show up to class. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's all on yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I want to really get to college. I need more independence. I don't feel like we get a lot in high school,
You don't get-
especially this school in general. I feel like we don't get a lot of independence.
Why?
I don't know.
Like
Our
what?
school has gotten really strict over the past few years.
For like what though?
I think you were given less independence and being
Yeah.
told more what to do.
And we were talking about this with our NHS council, basically student council. Like, our school has gotten so strict with everything. They don't do anything like fun anymore. Like, they'll have senior week where you do lots of things, but now, like, just doing little events like a track day or something, like something fun like that, they don't allow it anymore. They don't think it's a good idea.
I mean, I think it's cool
Well-
because this year for senior trips, they're doing it over the course of school. It's not like
Mhm.
all piled into one week where
Also
you're just
now
tired.
it's like throughout the year.
Yeah, so we went
Is
to
what it should be.
Six Flags for October or Fright Fest.
How was
Yeah.
that?
That was really good. That was really
Scary?
fun. No, I mean I just rode roller coasters the entire time because that's
I mean,
what I like.
I was like there when I was 8 years old, and I got scared to pieces. Like, I was crying.
I know that, like, so you know the ride Superman there.
Yeah. Did you go on it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like we waited in line for like 2
Oh.
hours
Oh
to
my
go.
God.
You
which
need a
was
fast
nice.
pass.
Well, it was nice to wait in that line because by the time we got in, like, on the ride, it was sort of dark, so all the lights came on.
That's cool.
But like when you're going up for the initial just huge drop off,
That one's crazy.
you're like just your
Mhm.
stomach falls, and you're like,
Yeah.
I've never been scared on a roller coaster, but I was like truly
Oh,
scared.
we should
on
tell
that.
them about Cedar Point.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Like,
you know Cedar Point, right?
No.
It's
What's that?
the really big
amusement park.
amusement park in Cleveland,
Okay.
and it's like on an island or whatever. It has like one of the fastest coasters, and we went on a ride there, and it was it was so fast. It's like one of the highest G-force things. It's exactly what you're talking about. Just like, I've never been so scared in a roller
I just get, like,
coaster.
I'm not afraid of roller coasters either, but I just think it's like the idea like you're strapped in, and then you know when
Yeah.
it's like loose, you know when like it's like
Yeah.
and you just think that if I let go, I'm gonna go
Well,
flying out of it.
One of the things with Superman was it wasn't the overhead thing.
Yeah.
It's the bar.
It was the bar
It's
that goes
just a
down.
lap
Oh,
bar.
yeah,
That's-
And
it's just
you know,
a
you
lap
have your
bar.
you have your seatbelt, whatever,
Yeah.
and just the bar.
We should go
And
to
they
Six
can-
So
Flags.
and then
Hands go
you're
up and then-
basically at 0 degrees, like
yeah.
downwards. So it is truly scary. And I think I've had that feeling when I was thinking about life after high school in junior year, because I just truly didn't know what I was gonna do. It wasn't until like
When did you figure that?
in
Like,
the
when-
summer to this year where I was like, okay, I think this is what I want to do, and I
Mhm.
think superintendent is what I want to do. But
Really?
because you've never been in that job yet, you
Mhm.
don't know.
You don't know that.
So
other
that
aspect
you're
of
taking
it.
that risk, just like you are on a roller coaster. You're taking the risk, like you're gonna be fine, but like that something can happen,
hmm
and I think that's just still in the back of my head, and like that's made me nervous over the years because it's like I don't want to be 25 and hate my job.
Yeah, like it's like I was gonna say it's a long life, but really it's not. But also you want to enjoy it. You don't want to
have like a minimum wage job. Is the answer?
Not
You
only
don't- well,
that,
you don't
it's
wanna be
just
like-
like you don't want to be unhappy.
You don't want to go to work every day, all day,
Repeating the same
resenting
thing.
like where you are,
Yeah.
like what you're doing, and then go home and be like life sucks. That's like
Mhm.
I truly think, like, I would rather barely get by but love my job than like make millions
it's
and
like,
just
are the richest
not.
people really happy? Like are they like the they're not the happiest people, are they? I feel like you have to kind of work. I think money helps, but like you have to like
Money definitely helps,
if
but
you have no direction, like if you're just given money,
I would rather
I feel like
like love waking up and going to work every day rather than just it's another day at the office.
I mean, mine's a bit different. I want to be a surgeon. That's very interesting, and you get paid a lot.
But
like,
well, that's
you
one of
would-
the
you-
benefits of
you-
your
you-
job.
you
Like
would-
you love.
but I
you would
actually
like-
love that
yeah.
stuff.
So you're like interested in it. You like would wake up and be like, okay, I want to learn more. I want to
Yes.
like help people. Like you want to help people,
Now
right?
it's a bit different when you're like, this person could die if I'm not careful.
I think
but
yeah, that puts it in a different
yes.
perspective.
And for my internship at the park, like I'm just doing an internship at the parks department. I leave during school. I go to my internship. I love it. Like I love just like it gives me that more step of freedom where I can just leave school and go to this job almost, and that's just fun.
It gives you experience too.
Yeah,
and,
like I'm not like it's not a paid internship, but I love going. Like I will work for free, just to like get the experience and learn. And I think that's a good
You
trait.
could do
and that's
like a
good
job
too. It counts
shadow.
as, like towards your school too, like your credits, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
I'm
could
getting
do-
credits for it. That's true.
good.
You could do a job shadow,
Yeah,
which I'm trying to do, but they're terrible at emailing me, like most places. But I think our school, they sort of, like the problems you've had, our school sort of like lacks that college like transition stuff, teaching you to get ready for that.
I don't think it's. I wouldn't say it would be on the high school. I think
yeah,
the
it's
colleges
yeah.
lack outreach.
No, they're
Well,
I'm different. They outreach to me a lot. Like the school, like they just don't announce thing. Like
I think
UMass Amherst and like BU, they visited the school, and they barely made an announcement of it. They made like one email sent out, and you only got that if you're following that school on Naviance. That's it.
well,
So many people aren't gonna like actually see that. Like
I think it's more of like, because like yeah, they do send out emails and stuff, but it's like they need to tell us like the direction you want to go. It's like if you want to like get into a good college, what do you need to do? Like I feel like that's more on us now. We have to do the research, like decide what we want to do, which it makes sense as well because it's kind of like showing like you want. It's the first step into getting into college is showing that you're gonna take the time to find out where you want to go, what you want to do.
I know it's a little bit far away, but like in your job field, like I know you, once you get older, how does that impact your job? I know, like as a surgeon, I mean, you'd probably retire.
Young-
60s.
young.
they all it varies because some of them retire early because they get paid a lot. Others like retire in their 60s, like the normal age, and some of them just like doing it so they go into like until they can't like
I think.
can't.
Well, if you want to be a cardiovascular surgeon, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that, but like once you get like too old, or like you can't do it as well, you can move into like a different field as
Yes.
well, and your expertise would still apply probably somewhere else as well.
So that's one of the things I've struggled with manual labor as your job.
Mm-hmm.
I could be 30, break a leg, and I'm out for months, and like I'm not getting paid then. Like
That's
I could be on
scary.
medical leave,
Exactly like sports.
but that could end my career and then put me in a bad financial
And then
place.
you're relying on money you don't
Yeah.
have, and then
And even like with the wars like overseas, if the U.S. like gets dragged into that the last thing people are gonna do is come play golf.
I think that's very
So
true.
it's an economy-based
we're
job,
in
which is
America.
also scary
Yeah,
because
'cause
it's always
we're-
fluctuating.
Yeah, and we're in like I feel like it's unexpected what's happening next now. Where I feel like we're in.
Even with what you want to do, like computer science, or did you say
Yeah, computer
economics?
science. No,
Like,
computer
'cause you
something
said
like computer
something.
science.
But like that job can definitely vary depending on what happens in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could code with computer science, so I
but-
think that's always plus, and that job will never.
You got
I think
AI.
it's just more of the future.
What
if
about
you-
AI though? AI
Well,
is
yeah,
getting good
that
at coding.
could be
That's the
creating.
exact thing.
Computer science could be creating AI.
I don't want you to create AI, Hayden. You're gonna destroy this world if you do.
Wow.
So
Thanks,
I
Dylan.
think that that's a future-based job. And one of the things, like a blue-collar job, those jobs aren't going anywhere. It's always a safe bet. Which I learned how much like a master electrician makes. I think
A
it's
lot.
I think it's unfair.
Really?
Like it's hard earned. It takes like 8 years of just other schooling to get there and being an apprentice and journeyman. But blue-collar jobs are not
But,
like
essential too. We need.
they
need
are essential and they
electricians, we need
get paid
plumbers.
fairly.
But it's
Um,
dangerous. Well, electrician is dangerous, but
I mean, it's all dangerous.
that's-
It's all relative to the job.
you could say
goes
like
with-
a plumber makes a lot, but it destroys their health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the
there's
thing.
chemicals all day.
That goes with like your like labor jobs. Like if electricians, plumbers, if something happens to them, they can't really go to the job site anymore
Mm-hmm.
unless they get like people to do it for them. They can supervise.
Robots.
Well, they can supervise other people.
Robots.
I don't think we're gonna have robot electricians for.
You make.
No,
What do you
but I
think?
think the materials and how stuff would last a lot longer would differ.
Like in the
Um,
future,
Yeah.
like we would we
Well,
would
just
need
like
repair
you
and
know, you
stuff?
come across new materials and maybe they last longer, and maybe make it more simple to learn. That's like one of the things. If you're a plumber and you're dealing with like a broken pipe, the people that are making the pipes could make like a kit, a repair kit that's very
like
very
self
straight.
like
Self-repair.
the
It's
homeowners
just
can
straight
do it
fair. It's
themselves.
just straightforward, and that really just has a negative effect on that job.
It's kind of like Apple, how the right to repair and
Yeah.
they're like making it harder so people can repair their phones.
Well, they have their own. Yeah, they've basically
want you
made
to-
their own components to their phones
They want
and
you
their
to go to
electronics, or that
them.
you have to go to them,
Yeah.
which I think
Well,
is
there's a
smart.
lot of other
It's
corrupt-
actually
It's a smart business strategy.
That's not the only.
But then
bit
you're
of
cheaping out
corruption
on
they
what
have.
you're making,
What do you
or
mean?
you're cheaping out on your quality.
Oh,
or
you said
want people to
quality over
come.
profit.
You
Yeah.
could-
Well, their phones are already overpriced, so you could, and because of how the world is, if you have an iPhone, you break it, you're basically like addicted. You need another iPhone.
Mhm.
I think
So you
some of-
have to
I
go
think some
to
of our
this
jobs, too.
$1,000 phone
I mean,
and then pay that money and then have to get it fixed 4 months later.
in history class, Mr. Prescott was like talking about like how Apple they've just transitioned the accessories.
Like
It's
the
like-
AirPods,
Yeah.
like they took out the
They-
iPhone jack and now just put the
Yeah,
AirPods.
that's
Well,
exactly
they
what I
have
was
a
gonna
blank
say.
phone. Like they have their volume power on button now,
Yeah.
speakers.
The
They're gonna get rid of the charger
AirPods are a
soon.
big thing.
Oh, for like the wireless
Oh,
ones.
I
They're
forgot
definitely
about
going to
that.
I think
transfer
there's-
to the wireless charging
they
because
think
that
that-
makes you have to get the MagSafe
Yeah.
case.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's those ones you see with the weird
Yeah.
lines on them. It's
So you can make your phone have to have accessories.
it's like they
Yeah.
take over the market and then they're just gonna you have to buy
They're-
their stuff.
well, Apple's dangerous to
Yeah.
invest in though because
Why?
of that. Every single time I do a lot of economic stuff, like when you look at an Apple stock, what they are like is they announce like the new iPhone, their stock rises like crazy, their market is through the roof, but they drop down immediately and it's just like
You have to
flatline.
invest in Apple. The smartest thing to
Yeah.
do is
And then sell as soon
Buy
as it
now.
gets high.
I don't even
Just
think
wait.
so. I'd wait it out
Just wait,
because
yeah. They're not going anywhere for a while.
That's why it plateaus and then just
Yeah.
takes a dive. It's because people are letting it get up there, seeing it's at a high,
And then they
at
sell.
a record high. You're always gonna be at a record high every new phone you come out,
Mhm.
and then
Except for the
everyone's,
iPhone
everyone's
15,
gonna
that was-
sell, and then everyone's gonna drop, and that will negatively affect just the economy in the
It's
stock
like
market because that means other businesses that are like working with Apple will also
drop.
take a dive.
See, if you're looking at it at like the short term, like it's very fluctuating, but the long term, it's also like Apple's not going anywhere, right? But
I mean,
Yeah.
It's a
Apple
safe
might
bet.
might be going somewhere, but Apple's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Hayden. They're always going to be at the top of the.
Do you think that's
Market.
important? Do you think the like iPhone Android debate is worth it?
No,
what like? Which
Do you
one's
think it
better?
really matters?
no.
Why? Why no?
I have an Apple, but it doesn't really matter. Yes, Apple, they can last longer. They're both basically doing the same thing.
I think it depends on what you
But
want too.
they're kind of there. It's almost like the monopolies in the
Yeah.
20s and 30s. They have to have a competitor,
Mm-hmm.
so they aren't actually as powerful as they
I
are.
think.
I think it's just because of like now with social media and all the influencers, like they chose Apple,
Yeah.
and I think that
it's
might have to
easier.
do.
It's
Well, it's not even easier. I think it's just more expensive. So
It
you
all
sort
looks
of
better.
push
It's
the
like the
thing where like you need the expensive phone, and
I
you
kinda-
need all these
that's
accessories.
what's
Where
the hype
that's
for
like
all the
better.
new phones. It's like the new phone comes out. It's the exact same thing as the old one.
Mhm.
I have it
Just-
because of like just the company we use, like AT&T, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of the
Oh,
ones
they
they
pushed the
sell.
Apple too.
That's basically it. That's what it's also coming down to now. Your network is
Mhm.
how they sell it.
And touching on that subject of like media influencers, do you think that's like the big topic now? Is not
I
only
hate
like
them.
blue collar jobs, but like, do you think people are now
The
trying
fact
to be
they
more
want-
influencers rather than having like a set career goal?
I've heard like one of my dad's friends at his job. I've met with their kid, and he's like middle school, 6th grade. He wanted to be like a YouTuber as a career.
Mhm.
That's somehow something that can be possible
Yeah.
I think
in
that's-
our generation,
Well-
and that's like almost worrying because it's not viable as long
Well, I
term.
think it's a
It's a good because technology has become so prevalent. I think it's not like as outrageous as like in the 2005 when
Mhm.
YouTube was created. For
you
parents,
couldn't make any money then. Like there was no.
you could, but it's harder just because it was a
Yeah.
new thing, and older people would have a hard time understanding where like if your son is doing this media, he can actually make a lot of money off of it rather than having just a regular job.
I still think if everybody does it, it's still oversaturated. Like not everyone's gonna find the
Mhm.
same success.
I
Yeah.
still think it's dangerous though because like one wrong move, your
Oh, like
like
cancel
whole
culture,
like empire's just gonna fall. Like anything can happen with that.
Well, and that's one of the things like with technology is like you have your digital footprint,
Mhm.
and everything you do is then tracked. So like one mistake could end your career.
Mhm. Mess of a world.
it's some things, but I don't think you. Yeah, we have to make do what we have, right?
Mm. What do you talk about in
Like-
history, Hayden?
In history,
Yeah.
we talk about the economic system and how
Just
the,
think.
the industrial revolution kind of ruined stuff
Just
for today.
think about how weird it is that everything's repeating itself.
Well,
I
history
find
repeats
that
itself.
interesting. I find that really interesting. It's like
Well, history repeats itself. So if you're not,
Are we gonna
everything
have
is
another
gonna,
recession soon?
well, everyone says you're gonna have a recession soon.
That's true. They said that with
Like
COVID.
the economy is always gonna fluctuate and all that. So
Mhm.
it's just about moving past it and
Yeah.
looking like what fixed it then is gonna help you fix it now.
you need to look at like what didn't fix it. You can't do that again.
Yeah. So the Great Depression, war got us out of the Great Depression.
You know, it's out of the
Mm,
depression.
The U.S. debt clock.
U.S. is in very, very lot of
I
debt.
don't think. Yeah, I don't think World War One, not World War One, World War, all the wars did not solve anything.
Isn't it weird that it was?
It
like,
definitely helped it.
I think.
No, I think it like got worse because you had all the companies. They've just completely switched to making more stuff, and they kind of lost control of their business, and a lot of them went out of business and stuff.
I think when you have like industry based on war, then they're gonna want war to happen. So I think didn't they moved more business to war, which boosted the economy at the time.
Yeah. Do you think war is a necessary?
Like
It
calm.
can be necessary.
I think
Do you think
not everyone
not
will
like
ever-
conflict? Because
I think
like,
conflict is necessary. I think
It depends on what the situation is. If you have to step in,
there needs to be like a boundaries though. You can't just like
because then you're gonna have World War One again, where everyone just becomes like an ally, and then it becomes a domino effect where everyone's against each other. You can't have that. So it all depends on the situation. Like,
Do you think there always has to be like a central power? Like do you think like some country always has to
I don't
be?
think someone has to be, but I think someone will always be. Because someone, like, I feel like it's human nature to want to be on top.
If we all
Right.
want to be even, that's socialism.
Yeah. Well, I
feel-
agree. I think you're never gonna be all the same.
Yeah, because
No.
like even on Earth, like resource distribution's
too
different,
much greed.
geography's different. it's
There,
just-
no, that's the word. Like
Too much greed.
is someone's gonna want more always.
That's just the U.S.
I think it's everyone. Like I think that was one of the questions
that's
I was
why-
asked. Is a newborn born with negative effects?
They want.
Like, do you think
do you mean?
so? Are newborns? Are babies? Do babies have like? Do you think they develop?
Do they develop greed?
Yeah.
Like, do they?
So I know, like, baby's perfect because they can't do anything wrong. Do you
I
think you develop like these negative traits by people around you, or do you think you always have them? Like,
It's
are they always
around-
just?
It's both. I think,
think it's
it's
around
around
you
you
too.
and yourself.
Because I think that's one of the things like I've looked into. If you take twins and put them into different environments, are they still gonna have like?
No, they work
Well,
as a
then-
hive mind.
Are they still gonna
Yeah.
have like those negative traits if one is born into like a really Christian household and a very like good traits are being pressed on them?
I think it's both. I think if you grow up in a household that like you're always expecting like, oh, we need to be on top, like to do whatever it takes, you're gonna be like, okay, like that's what I'm growing up with, that's what I'm gonna do. And I think
Miles'
it'll be more
house is kind of like
amplified.
that, but Miles isn't like that.
I don't think he is.
I think so. I think even if you're brought up trying to be like your perfect self and all good traits, I still think you're gonna have like negative actions and thoughts. Like I think you're always gonna have that thought of greed,
There's
but
always,
it's whether you act on it or not where like really defines who you are.
I think that built, yeah, that's been the character, right? Because like we all can decide to just do nothing all day, right?
Mhm.
Like we all have good grades, right? We can all just decide to do nothing, but like we don't want to do nothing. We want to make a career, work hard, build something, right? And that's kind of just defines like who we are. If we did,
And then there's kids who don't do anything.
yeah, and it's like if we didn't do that, who are we, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Is that it?
I think so. So thank you guys for attending our podcast. I know Miles wasn't here, but we made it work.
I think I think 3 people really had a good conversation, but if we had the 2 other people, we would have had carried it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, bye.